How you doing? Welcome to episode 4 of Screenplay 101. Today we're going to talk about criticism. Last week I posted some videos and someone from a screenwriting list went ahead and sent me some notes on them. Frankly, when I read the notes I got really pissed off. I felt as if I was being attacked, and after about 15 minutes, I came back, read the notes again, and saw that every point that had been made was valid. That's why I think one of the things that we're going to be talking about, at least we're going to talk about it this week, but one of the issues that needs to be addressed as screenwriters is the issue of criticism. How many times has someone handed you a script and said, "Do me a favor, read this and give me your honest opinion"? They don't want your honest opinion. They want you to tell them it's great. The odds are, if you went ahead and gave them your honest opinion, you probably lost their friendship, or at the very least you put a strain on it. They didn't want to hear what the flaws were. They wanted to hear how great it was. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at criticism and how to deal with it. You know, when we encounter criticism, certain reactions take place. Usually what happens is we stop listening, and then we're either going to start defending or attacking. We're going to either defend what we've written and explain why we wrote it that way, or we're going to attack the person giving us the criticism and basically deny the fact that they have any validity. This means that one of the things that we need to make sure when we're dealing with criticism is we need to make sure that we are dealing with valid criticism. Okay, there are two different kinds of criticism. You've got valid criticism and you've got invalid criticism. Valid criticism is criticism that can be addressed, and it can be analyzed, and it can either be fixed or disregarded. And now that's important to keep in mind. Even though criticism is valid, you can disregard it. The other criticism is invalid criticism. This is the criticism that's based on individual taste or someone's preferences, and they're not actually giving you any subjective information. Let me give an example of both. Valid criticism is if someone comes up to you and says, "You know what? Act 3 falls apart. I don't like the ending. It's just your main character is going through the motions, it seems." That's valid. You can go back, you can look at Act 3, and you can determine whether or not the person giving you the criticism is accurate. Invalid criticism is when someone comes up to you and says something like, "I don't like your main character. He doesn't own a cat." That is invalid criticism. That has nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to create. One of the things that you'll learn to do as a screenwriter is you'll learn how to make criticism work for you. Criticism, if it's done right and if it's handled properly, is going to give you a great opportunity to provide a dialogue. If someone has a valid criticism and you can address it, you can either fix it or you might even be able to bring them around to your way of thinking. This dialogue that you're creating, what's happening there is your creative process is enhanced. You've gone from being a solitary screenwriter into part of something more than just yourself. And for the most part, that's just about what every professional screenwriter winds up doing. They wind up taking a lot of input, using what they want, using what's valid, and walking away from the stuff that they feel really doesn't apply. Now, the reason the criticism hurts so much, the reason that it is so hard to accept, is for the most part, a lot of writers view themselves as their projects. I still have a hard time separating myself from my work. So if someone criticizes what I've written, I take it as a personal attack. When I received the criticism notes on my previous video casts, I felt as if I personally was being attacked. I think that's human nature. What you need to do then is to take that criticism and to deal with it. And there are ways that it can be properly dealt with. Okay, so how do we adapt to criticism? How do we deal with it? How do we grow from it? Well, the first step in criticism is listen carefully. Now, when someone's giving you information, stop and listen. Do not work on your defense, and don't work on an attack. Listen to what they're saying. One thing I've found, and several screenwriters that I know have wound up using, is they actually take notes. Somehow, the physical act of putting words on paper forces you to hear what's being said. After your criticism, put the material away for a couple of days. Put it away completely. And then come back to it and look it over. This time, when you look it over, use the notes that you've been given and see if the material can be improved or worked upon. You know, in the end, criticism helps us grow. It really does. It enhances us. It really allows us to expand our viewpoints and to expand our entire creative process. Handling criticism the right way also is going to mark you as a professional. When people know that they can give you criticism and that you're not going to explode upon them, you will find that they will approach you more easily, they will give you suggestions more easily, and at the same time, if you don't want to change something, they're going to respect that, because at least they understand that you're treating it professionally. And in the end, criticism allows all of us to see our works through the eyes of others. If several people give you the same criticism about something, we might need to look at our script and decide whether or not we've succeeded in what we were attempting to do. If 5 people all have similar criticisms about a character, take a look at that character. Listen to what these people have told you about that character, and then go ahead and adjust it accordingly. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and keep writing. More than anything else, that's going to be the key to success. Next week, I'm going to be talking about things like Craigslist. Thank you very much.